what's your take on like, is it a distance issue? Like what makes low power variable optic the better choice versus a red dot or vice versa? And then also to piggyback, what's your take on like a red dot with a magnifier behind it?
Okay. So let's go red dot versus low powered variable. If you know the preponderance of your shooting is going to be fast and inside 200 yards, red dot all day, every day. A lot of times the low powered variable crowd, they're like, well, I can set it at 1 power and use it like a red dot. No, because you're looking through a tube,
Yes.
right? You're looking through a tube that's this long versus a red dot that's this long. And when you're trying to get behind it fast, it makes a difference. Can you dial it down to 1 power and use it as a red dot? Yes, you are going to be a little bit slower than if you just used a red dot. The other thing that gets the low power variable crowd is people don't pay attention to the illumination system. If you want to use it as a red dot, like you got to be able to step out in bright daylight and still see the dot. And a lot of times people are like, well, everybody who makes a low power variable is like, this is daylight bright. No, it's not. If it's got a 2032 in it, it does not, unless it has what's called a diffractive illumination system, which is where inside the scope on the end of the LED, they put a lens to focus the light, kind of like a laser, into the center of the reticle. Because most low powered variables, it's just a red light that washes the lens. And then there's material in the reticle that reflects 20% of it back to you. Well, a 2032 does not have enough juice to hit it with enough light for you to see it in bright daylight conditions. You put a diffractive system in there, put a lens on it and focus it, and now all of a sudden 20% of the light's getting back to you. In that case, a 2032 will work. So how do you know what's got a diffractive system and what doesn't? Well, the ones that I know for a fact do are the Night Force 1 to 8 NX8, 1 to 8 ATAC R, the 1 to 10 Vortex Gen 3 Razor, and I think the Leupold Mark V does, Mark V, Mark 6. But you're going to pay for that. And inevitably somebody's gonna be like, you forgot this one. Yeah, well, maybe I did. If you're buying a low powered variable less than $1,000, it doesn't. So you either look for low powered variables, like Trigicon's got a 1 to 8 with a double A. That's a double A, man. It's got enough juice. Like, it doesn't care what kind of illumination. So that thing's throwing out so much light. So pay attention if you're going to use the low powered variable as a red dot. If you know you're going to go past 200 yards, go low powered variable.
Yeah.
And then it's a matter of, are you really going to use it like a red dot, or you just like to be able to say that? Maybe you don't need a diffractive system. Maybe you do. Red dot with a magnifier. You're going to learn this lesson the hard way. You can induce a lot of parallax by putting a magnifier behind a red dot. And the only way to do that, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to use red dot and magnifier from the same manufacturer, and do not be alarmed, I'm going to read the owner's manual and set it up how they recommend. Because if you just go slapping magnifiers behind red dots, like I've seen where at 200 yards, you can induce enough parallax to, on a full-size E-type, be aim center mass and miss. And you'd be like, that's ridiculous. No one's got that much parallax. Yeah, because I lived through it. I was like, what is wrong with me? And then I realized, I started moving my head and I was like, oh, Lord, have mercy.